Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, of course, it's Egg and Baby in the morning. You already know what time it is. Baby! Grunt incoming. I think sometimes she gets flabbergasted. A8LYDK6X. Sometimes she gets flabbergasted. Hear me out here. I think that's keys and bombs, which are really good, or we could store it till the caves, but I think I'm just gonna, I feel completely correct in my decision-making process there. Something in my head was like, hey, you played this game for a long time, trust your instincts. I'm pretty sure if you get a red chest payout in a curse room, if you re-roll before you leave the curse room, it will remain a red chest payout. If you leave, re-enter, and re-roll, it could become an any room payout, which in some circumstances might actually be pretty solid, I guess, but not in this one. In this one, we made the right call. Range up, please. Okay, I'm drowsy. Anyway, that's a great start, and Dead Onion, an amazing item, obviously comes with like a shot speed down. It's like the only time I'll ever ask for either a shot speed up or a range upgrade. But I'm very, very pleased with where we stand regardless. This is an incredibly good run as we stand. I will say, as mentioned, sometimes, you know, the baby, she's very vocal, maybe a little shy as well. She might be flabbergasted. You know, if I go, hey, baby, she's like, If I go, hey, everybody, welcome back, she's like, okay, I'm just gonna take it all in. Just gonna take it all in. I think this is a pretty good item, but we have so many rerolls. I just want to, I don't really care about a speed upgrade. And, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not going to say that we, like, you know, destroyed this situation, like we made the right decision necessarily, but, I mean, it turned out quite well. We kind of needed a range upgrade to begin with. And then I was going in here, I wanted to get bombs. Fairly rare that a bomb won't show up here. But we still have the ability to, because there is this tinted rock down here, we still have the ability to get an arcade on the next floor, so the idea is, I guess, that this chariot card will, you know, pay for itself, and it's probably not, you know, that exciting necessarily, but you know, we're not in control of the excitement of the run when it comes to stuff like that. You know, if we walk into a room where we can re-roll our entire run, yeah, sometimes we can do that, but you know, when it comes to a shop that just doesn't have a bomb or a reroll machine, you're like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna enjoy life. Oh, bless you, baby. We had a little baby milestone today. It's the first morning she's ever woken up with bedhead. It's not a genuine milestone in the same sense as, like, you know, first word, you know, talking, graduation, etc., etc. But hey, I mean, you know, I had a last day where I could wake up with bedhead. You knew this was coming. This was just like a guarantee. As soon as you want an arcade that has a blood bank, they're going to be like, nah, 3 slot machines. Everybody's favorite. Yeah, I haven't had bedhead in quite some time. It's a very fitting item to show up at the moment. If I do get bedhead, it's a sign I need to shave my head more often. I talked about it on stream, but, you know, if you haven't been following along with the minutia, which is completely understandable, we've been making some tech upgrades. The one that we made, maybe, well, I mean, we made the order in December, but it only recently actually got implemented because all the parts took forever to arrive. For some reason. Obviously, I know the reason. It's been in the news a little bit lately, and by lately, I mean for, you know, approximately 14 months now. Maybe 15, depending on what kind of news you watch, but regardless, I don't know, maybe it's been out of the news for 6 months, depending on what kind of news you watch. But anyway, long story short, I didn't say their name, but you know who I'm talking about. We got a new, I was gonna say webcam, but it's like a genuine, you know, camera. It's a nice camera, it's set up. Took us a stream or two to get the settings where I wanted them, but once we got them, crystal clear. And actually, like, having a camera that looks so nice, I'm just gonna pop this. We're not gonna hold this till another arcade. Like, let's be realistic. Having a camera that's so nice, and I say this with some self-awareness, but without it being misleading. Like, this is the truth. It's made me want to take better care of myself. It's made me want to, you know, maybe like with the Logitech C920, which is a perfectly serviceable 1080p webcam, I could get away, let's say, with not shaving as often, and, you know, but now with the 4K, it's not, I'm not embarrassed about any, like, gray in the beard or anything like that. It's more just like, there's a desirable length that I would like my facial hair to be, and sometimes I let it go a little past it, and then I pull it back. Now that we got this nice camera, and I have to see myself when I'm, like, making thumbnails and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what, we're gonna shave a little bit more often. And the head as well. Because you can really, like, this camera does a great job of showing you the Andre Agassi, if you know what I mean. The pattern, the horseshoe, the Costanza. We also, and you know, if this ends up not being an upgrade, we can always pivot back, but, the other technical thing people complain about all the time. Well, lately people have complained about the fact that the stream stutters constantly, but I think that's more a result of the fact that, Twitch has been rolling out, like, technology to kind of screw up ad blockers, which I have no control over. So, you know, if you want to be upset about that, then, you know, you know who to take it to. It's not me. Either way. No. It doesn't matter. We don't care if he pays out in here. You know what? This run is so crystal clear already, I'm not sweating it. But the other thing is, like, hey, NL, you know, usually you kind of keep it on, like, an even keel. You go, like, you know, you talk around this level, maybe a little louder than this. And then occasionally you go, oh, my word, let's go. And I don't take offense to it anymore. There may have been a time where I did. Where people were like, I don't watch your videos when I try to sleep anymore. Because sometimes... when I'm sleeping, you'll scream and I'll wake up. And I'm like, well, you know, as a younger man with a little bit more pride, I think there was an element of, like, you shouldn't be sleeping during this must-watch content, regardless. So, you know, it serves you right, to some extent. And then, you know, now as an older and, I would say, wiser individual, I just remember, you know, the Pirates of the Caribbean, dead men tell no tales. Sleeping viewers leave no criticisms, and I think to myself, I would like to tailor my whole experience to make it a little bit more amenable to my, you know, slumbering viewer base. I would take that as I think that's a demographic I would like to court in the future. So I got a I don't want to mess around with, like, an and maybe this will change one day, but for now I don't want to mess around with, like, an XLR mic. Which is, like, the next logical step from upgrades. Like, USB mics can only get so good in quality. The XLR mics, which are, like, that long... You know what I'm talking about. Like, the long, pokey, prong that you see sometimes in a music video where they plug their guitar into an amp and it goes, like... That's kind of like the next logical step for an audio setup, is you would get, you know, one of those, and you would maybe plug it into a mixer or a preamp or a piece of technology or hardware that has both, and then you would plug that into an XLR to USB, you know, adapter, and then you would plug it into your computer. I don't really want to fiddle with that, just because I really do... Oh, we should use our key back here. What am I thinking? I really do... I want good quality, don't get me wrong, but I also really like having a setup that's easy to troubleshoot. You know, it's easy to forget in the... I mean, come on, man, you're definitely taking the freaking credit card here. It's easy to forget, you know, we live in an era where troubleshooting is a little rarer. I think we should at least try this. You know, it was worth a shot, I guess, and then we can always come back and re-roll it, but we live in an era where, you know, let me put it this way, in 2012 when we started streaming, oh my, no, I think it was 2012. Anyway, it was a little harder. You know, like, instead of using OBS, you click one button, you go live, you get something called, like, Adobe Flash Media Live Encoder, and it was just like a series of ridiculous settings, and then you would use this admittedly quite powerful but user-unfriendly program called Virtual Audio Cable to get it set up. And I'm here to tell you, like, streamers, you know, nowadays, they don't even, like, read their emails. And I say that with some self-awareness, right? Like, sometimes I'll be, like, and this is not related to Twitch Rivals, but other events in the past. Streamers will show up, like, 15 minutes late for an obligation and be like, is there anything I have to do? And I'm like, you didn't even read the email? There's an email, it's like a paragraph long, and all it says is, like, you know, download, like, this one thing before you go live, and they're like, oops, LOL. My bad. Streamers back then, I'm not saying it's a back in my day thing, but, you know, all I'm trying to get at is we're not always the smartest, you know, cohort of individuals on the planet to begin with. You pair that with Adobe Flash Media Live Encoder and virtual audio cable, and it's disastrous sometimes. But anyway, sorry. Oh, it's an XL. We probably should have just re-rolled right away, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sweating too much on this run right now. But I place a little bit of a premium, at least on a personal level, on the idea of having a setup that's easier to troubleshoot, and, you know, there's just so many stories, and they sound great. Like, I'll be honest with you, like Bear sounds, his audio setup is better than mine. Justin's audio setup sounds better than mine. The flip side is that when they have troubleshooting issues, I'm laughing. Not at them, but I'm going, you know, I'm like... I don't know where that's supposed to mean, but, you know, I'm like, well, because I'm just a plug-and-play guy. I use a Logitech desktop microphone. That's not true, but, so, anyway, long story short, so you gotta get something called a compressor, or either, alternatively, a limiter, you know, in order to kind of do that on the, I mean, there's some OBS, filters on audio you can add on and stuff like that. I might experiment with those as well, but there's also a microphone called the Elgato Wave 3 that actually... I've had, admittedly, kind of middling results with Elgato products in the past, but lately, I don't know if anybody even cares. Baby, she's like, stop talking about Elgato, nobody cares. I'm like, people need to know I didn't like the Stream Deck very much. It broke on me super quickly, but everything else I got from Elgato has been working really well. Even the capture card that a bunch of people say doesn't work for them. I'm not saying it's a, you know, a PEBCAC issue for them. I'm just saying I've had good luck with them recently, and, you know, this cam link that we're using to get the camera feed into OBS is an Elgato product, and, you know, and then we got this mic, the Elgato Wave 3, that apparently, like, it has everything I heard from audio people that I solicited stuff from on Twitter were like, this is as close as you can get to an XLR quality compression plus limiter solution without, you know, making the crazy switch to an XLR setup. Anyway, so, you know, we've been making some upgrades recently. That's the long and short of it. This whole anecdote started with the idea that I wanted to shave more often because we got a new camera, and then we ended up giving an endorsement of a company that I am not sponsored by, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Baby. She do be grunting. Okay, you know what? I probably take that. I think I take it right now to get the chance for the HP. And, I mean, that was just a beautiful roll. We want the HP before the boss fight, in the hopes that we could maybe trade a full heart container for a deal with the devil, but now I'm like, our heart container is not full, so I don't even know if it'll work. Okay, now it's full, but we can't get to a deal with the devil, which, again, is actually completely fine. We would like to get a key somewhere. I can't say somewhere without picturing that Hawaiian guy with the ukulele. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, you get the idea. Great, by the way, great song. Not something personally I would probably choose to listen to in my downtime too often, but a beautiful voice, beautiful. I mean, Somewhere Over the Rainbow is just a nice song to begin with, right? You know, baby, you don't know it yet, because all you know is frog likes to hop, hop, pop. He jumps in the water. Splish, splash. She's smiling up a frickin' storm right now. This is, I'm telling you, I'm trying to play good Isaac, you know, build good habits. Repentance comes out pretty soon. Fiend Folio's keeping me honest. So I want to, you know, do everything I can to get into that item room. And I mean, I'm not saying I deserve your praise, your adulation, your accolades, and so on and so forth, but I mean, come on. That was pretty good. all that just to salvage an item room that's probably going to contain... I'm going to say it's going to have Mom's eyeshadow. I'm going to say that there's Mom's eyeshadow in there. If I'm right, you owe me... Are you ready for this one, baby? This, you could go to Super Harvard if this comes true. $1 billion. Okay, well, I mean, it's not... I didn't set the opposite odds, you know? I didn't set the opposite odds. I don't owe you $1 billion. Maybe if it's not Mom's eyeshadow, you owe me $1 million. How about that? Heads I win, tails you lose. I'm just, you know, I think the logical endpoint for playing this game is that at some point you just stop opening, you stop taking pills, you stop opening red chests, you stop, you know, maybe even going into item rooms. You stop fighting bosses, you stop moving, you stand still, you uninstall... Okay, no, we're not going there, we're not going there. Just, it'll freaking... You know what I'm saying, it'll grate your garlic, man. Open a red chest, you expect to get... I mean, even just like a single consumable that, I mean, is not dubious would be worth something, but... Alas... Alack and alas, no thank you. No guarantees. No such thing as a free lunch, baby. Unless you're a baby, in which case there's no such thing as a paid lunch. Yo, are there still restaurants that do, like, kids eat free? I understand that it's a marketing thing. I understand, like, I mean, I don't know, people are always, like, they try to hit you with gotcha moments, you know? You like going to the free sample area at Costco? Oh, well, they only do that to get you into the store. Okay, it worked, you know? Isn't that kind of something where... Isn't that a good solution for businesses and consumers alike? The consumer enjoys shopping there. The business also, you know, manages to... They keep the customer happy. They get some loyalty, you know, etc., etc. You know, it's a win-win. Sure, I mean, Costco's probably not going to deliver a free sample to your door out of the goodness of your heart, but if you're in the warehouse, then I get it. Baby, what's wrong? People are always like, they're just doing that. Buy one, get one free? They're just doing that to make money. Yeah, no kidding. They spent money advertising it to you that they're doing it. But I'm here to tell you, I've started crunching the numbers, right? Because, like, here's how my life has gone. And it's very minor, it's not even a complaint, it's just a mathematical reality, right? I would say, you know, from 0 to 17, occasionally, you know, occasional meals out with friends accepted, or, you know, going to the movies or something like that. Like 100% of my financial liabilities were covered by my parents. I would go to Wendy's once every 2 weeks with a couple of buddies. I would go see, you know, James Bond Die Another Day now and then. Baby, she's not, this is what gets me, she's not even discontented, she's just like, you know what, she's discovering her voice, that's what it is. She's learning, and I'm proud of her for this, she's learning the squeaky wheel gets the grease. All things considered, a baby who grunts is gonna get a little bit more attention than a baby who don't grunt, you know what I mean? This is a reroll. Well, yeah, no, it's a reroll. It's a good reroll at that. But, yeah, like, from 0 to 17, 100% of my financial obligations more or less are covered by my parents. If you want to take the opportunity to anti-flex, then please do. You know, I can't change my upbringing. If I would, I wouldn't change anything. I loved having, you know, supportive parents who were in a decent position, okay? I didn't know that, you know, when I was 8 years old and, you know, my dinners were being paid for by my mom and dad, I would have to pay for it spiritually every day for the rest of my life from that point onwards. Online from people who are like, oh, it's minus 40 where you are, is minus 42.5 where I am. Anyway, you know, go to college, I would say still probably, and this is where things get, I get really lucky on this one, I'm not going to deny that, but, you know, even in college, you know, I had jobs that covered basically spending money, groceries, etc., but a lot of my expenses, at least like 75% of my expenses, still handled by my parents. Then when I got out of college, we got pretty close to 100% of expenses handled by me really quickly. When I lived in Korea, you know, I paid for everything. But I'm an individual at that point, right? So it's not very expensive. I, you know, would eat out. When I was in Korea, I ate out all the time, but meals were very cheap. Like, a nice dinner. not like a Gordon Ramsay style nice dinner, but, you know, like, and Korean meals, you know, they tend to come with, like, some kind of, you know, rice, and then maybe some kind of either soup or a grilled meat of some sort, and then you get side dishes with, you know, fresh vegetables and kimchi and stuff like that. Might be like $5 to $8, depending. You could splurge a little bit, but, so it was not that pricey, and I was one man, right? Came back, you know, when Kate and I started to live together soon after that, then it was like, we amped it up, and we're, you know, I'm paying, well, at first I was living with my parents before I moved in with Kate, but then, you know, after that, paying for rent, utilities, you know, groceries for 2 people, meals for 2 people, etc., etc. And now I'm starting to crunch the numbers, and I'm like, what the heck? It's not that I can't handle it, but I'm just, it'll boggle your mind if you do the calculations. You're like, 3 meals a day for 18 years? Jeez Louise. We're going on intermittent fasting. I'm joking. I would never put a human infant on intermittent fasting. Well, unless, you know, if my doctor told me to, I would get a second opinion. And if that doctor said do it, then I might be like, okay, maybe we'll do it then. But, it sounds a little suspect, is all I'm trying to say. Forget the boss rush, man. We don't live that boss rush life anymore. So I'm like, we gotta figure out these restaurants who are still doing, like, you know, hey, if you're under the age of, you know, 10, you eat for free. That seems like a sick deal. The other bonus is that, like, the only kinds of restaurants that offer that deal are also the only restaurants you would want to go to with a young child to begin with. Like, nobody wants to take your you know, 7-year-old kid to a super trendy restaurant that's almost like the vibe inside is like a nightclub. You always gotta take them to a place where they serve them, they put like a little pirate hat on them or something like that, and go like, you know, ahoy, sailor, what will you have today? The chicken fingers. I'm all about that kids eat free life, man. You know, because I take myself too seriously. I think it's a genuine, let's not even call it a criticism. Let's just call it it's emblematic of my personality. I take myself too seriously and have since I was young. I preemptively graduated from the kids menu when I should not have. I was ordering adult entrees at like age 12 or, you know, maybe even 11 at some places. Mr. Tinted Rock, Mr. freaking Tinted Rock. It was not wise, you know? I could have been... I mean, even if you're not eating free, you can eat a little cheaper off the kids' menu. Baby. She's running the... like, right on the edge case right now of whether I would pause the video to try to assuage some grunting or whether we just let it go. Because it's kind of like, baby sounds... I mean, I find them... Here's the thing. This is how I know I'm on autopilot in Isaac, which is actually a good thing, I think, for banter purposes. But, like, in chess, when the baby grunts, my IQ drops probably 35 points. And I'm being 1,000% sincere. It's just, like, it's the interruption, like the distraction. And then also, you know, I do think that in the parental brain, the sound of your baby grunting is designed to, like, elicit a... It's like a key that unlocks, you know, anxiety or at least attention, right? But in Isaac, the grunting, honestly, has faded into the, into the rear view. And then you can usually... You can buy a little grunt solace, right, baby? And you just get... Oh, she's giving a huge smile. A huge smile. Yeah, and then you can sometimes go like, frog likes to hop, hop, hop. He jumps in the water. Splish, splash. Dude, I gotta tell you, it's been sweet too. Like, I mentioned it before, I'm sure, but she started to kind of giggle. But she's graduated past giggling. And sometimes she'll even elicit like a belly laugh. which is, I mean, it's just the sweetest sound in the world, right? It's harmonious to hear a baby's laughter. But it does also lead to, like, some tonal whiplash sometimes. Like, last night, she gets tired around, like, 6:30, and I gotta cook, you know, 3 nights a week at 6:30. So, and whatever, you know, she grunts or she cries, you know, it's kind of like the nature of having a baby, you know, we've learned to live with it. Of course, the matriarch. But she'll be, like, fussing. She'll go almost nuclear. And then I'm like, the only way I know how to, like, stop this is I can pick her up and then, like, you know, kind of lift her up in the air and pull her back down, lift her up in the air, pull her back down. And then, so it leads to these situations where, you know, hello. It kind of messes with your brain because the baby's going like, wah, wah, and then you pick her up and she's like, ah, ha, ha, ah, ha, ha. And then you put her down for half a second and she's like, where? And you're like, what is this? It's like a Tim and Eric sketch. It oscillates back and forth between, like, you know, a childlike joy and, I don't know, just the distraction at the bare minimum, baby. Like, I don't expect you to be perfectly quiet and tranquil over the course of the videos. I mean, that's just outrageous. You don't see this room too often anymore, huh? This is a rare one. We almost made it too. All right, baby. I'm gonna not even pause the video. I'm just gonna pause the game for a second. What's wrong, honey? What's wrong? What seems to be the problem? I can't, we tried it before where you sit on my lap in Isaac. It doesn't work that well because you're constantly kicking up against the desk to, like, try to get further away from it or something. You're kicking me in the you-know-what region, and, you know, to some extent as a father, you kind of accept that you're going to take some, you know, accidental physical abuse from your own child. You know, they're going to start hitting you in the head with toys or something like that, and you're actually just going to take that as an equivalent exchange for having a few moments where they're quiet. But, I mean, that's a little ridiculous, okay? See, baby, it's all good. Everything's fine. I do need to say thank you as well, by the way. You never know with the internet, and everybody on the internet is, you know, a little different. You can't treat the people as, like, a monolith, of course. But people have been really cool about the baby making noise in the Isaac videos, which I appreciate. Because it really is, like, the only realistic way I can maintain any kind of semblance of an earlier workflow. Like, were it not for having some level of understanding. I mean, I don't even... You put yourself into the 9-inch nails downward spiral where I'd have to start recording Isaac episodes, like, late at night when I'm, like, already exhausted, and then we're waking up super early in the morning every morning with the baby. Even though we are sleeping well, that would, you know, perhaps change if we had to record late at night. And I'm not saying, like, it wouldn't be possible, but it would change the... I mean, it would be much more miserable for me. So, when people are like, I like it, I'm like, that's awesome. When people are like, I tolerate it, I'm like, thank you. That's all I could ask, really. Because, I do appreciate it. And honestly, like, again, this is kind of, like, emblematic of, you know, sometimes people will be like, how long is he going to use that, like, baby excuse for not recording anything but Isaac? I mean, it's not like in the Isaac videos, it's, like, pure tranquility and... You know, oh, I can, maybe today I'll be able to leverage so much more time and start a brand new series on, you know, Yakuza 0, you know? Like, this is what it's like, during my working time. Imagine the parts of the day that I have made, you know, full-time baby maintenance. You can extrapolate out from there, but, yeah, we'll get back at some point, for sure. I mean, I think I maybe, let's not say misstated, because I don't agree with that, but I could clarify further. You know, I know, like, a couple of weeks ago in an episode I said, you know, my goal for YouTube is to, like, keep things roughly the same as, like, where they are right now, but maybe have, like, you know, a special video once a week or once every 2 weeks that would have a chance to be a little bit more spectacular, whether that's, you know, you know, edited video or some kind of compilation that has some sauce put on it or something like that. I should add on top of that, like, what I did not mean is that for into perpetuity, one Isaac a day and nothing else except the occasional clip compilation. Like, I would love to be able to have, and this is, you know, we're thinking blue sky thoughts here. If for right now I could find the time daily to do, you know, an Isaac a day and a chess video a day every day, I would be stoked. So, like, I have that ambition to make more bespoke YouTube videos. It's really, like, not possible right now. And, you know, nobody's been rude about it, but I kind of steel myself for the rudeness. You know, if you're wondering, like, you know, why is the baby taking up so much time? Well, I'll also tell you, you know, like, we live in the pandemic is still going on. All the newborn, you know, daycares and classes and stuff like that are, you know, completely canceled, or at least not taking new people. So, you know, and basically can't even leave the house right now. So, yeah, you know, it might take a few years. Admittedly, might take a few years, but once this little rascal's, like, you know, in some form of daycare or kindergarten, can slowly start to explore the possibility of, like, we're gonna have some new things going on. And then hopefully, in addition to that, a spectacular video once every few weeks or so, as ambition mandates. But yeah, it's just I mean, if anything, I hope it's instructive. You know, like, I've said it before, I think I overestimated the time-destroying short-term factors of having a newborn. I thought, you know, the first 3 months, there was going to be no time at all. Very wrong. But there was tons of downtime. She slept, I was going to say all the time, but really, she slept a lot, but, you know, she would also wake up a lot. But, you know, there's a lot of time that you could, you know, get some work done or just hang out on the couch, really, if you wanted to. But I very much underestimated the long-term commitment. Which is not like, you know, I was going to say buyer's remorse or something like that. It's not like that at all. It's just, you know, I think you know, I won't speak for everybody, but when I did not have a child, I had a lot of assumptions about what raising a child was like. And whenever someone would be like, it's a lot of work, I'd be like, is it though? I don't know. I play video games 12 hours a day, and I think I probably work harder than you. And, you know, I think I've broadened my horizons. Let's say I think I've learned the value of perspective a little bit as time has gone on. All right. So it's an easy run. It's a very good run as well. I have no complaints to offer about this one. I mean, we had Sack Dagger. We got the Pact in 4 seconds. It was a wonderful run. For now, though, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future, right, baby? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion. See ya!